Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're cracking open some source materials that really get into the weeds on loyalty. It's based around a reflection on 1 Corinthians chapter 1, verses 4 to 17. And it forces us to look hard at what commitment actually costs.
Yeah, and specifically about factions, right? When loyalty splits within a group.
Exactly. We're not just talking about simple disagreements here. It's about when that commitment breaks down, forms these factions.
It's a really crucial deep dive, I think, for anyone who's part of, well, any kind of focused group, really, whether leading or just belonging.
Right.
Because the source material frames this division, this loyalty to factions, not just as, a political thing, but as a failure of singular dedication, a failure to stay focused on the main thing.
So our mission today is to unpack that. We want to explore this rigorous standard of commitment the sources talk about.
And we'll move from this sort of abstract spiritual idea to a very concrete, real-world example of how one organization actually tries to enforce these boundaries.
Okay, so let's start with that foundation. The reflection centers on Corinth. Now, Corinth was famously fractured, wasn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Classic example.
So why does the source bring up 1 Corinthians 1.10?
Yeah.
That part urging them to all speak the same thing and be perfectly joined together. What was really going on there?
Well, the issue in Corinth wasn't so much deep theological heresy, at least not initially. It was more about personality cults. People were literally saying, I follow Paul, or I'm with Apollos, maybe I follow Cephas, Peter,
Right, picking sides based on the leader they liked best.
Exactly. They were loyal to the messenger, the charismatic figurehead, maybe the founder, instead of the actual message or the mission itself.
Okay.
And the source material uses this as sort of a starting point. Factionalism, it argues, always waters down the core purpose. Always.
Because people start pledging allegiance to their little subgroup or their favorite leader.
And the overall unified vision it collapses.
That makes a lot of sense. It's always easier, isn't it, to be loyal to the immediate group, the people right around you, than to some big abstract goal.
Very true.
So, to really hammer home how total this singular dedication needs to be, the source uses this really extreme analogy. It's actually quite shocking.
It is. It's startling. To show this idea of being completely set apart, the reflection tells this story. An anecdote from a photographer.
Okay.
He was covering a wedding, and the source, interestingly, calls it a scandalous wedding. Doesn't give all the details why, but sets that tone.
Intriguing.
So the ceremony finishes, the couple comes out of the church, ready for the big exit, or, rice throwing, the whole thing.
Yeah.
And the bride suddenly just bolts, breaks away from the groom.
Right, she just ran off.
Ran straight across the street, jumps into a car that's waiting there, engine running.
No way.
And her ex-boyfriend is behind the wheel.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. And the photographer apparently found out later this ex had been bragging, basically, that he could get her back anytime he wanted.
Wow. That's incredibly dramatic.
Right.
And messy.
Deeply chaotic, yeah.
Just instantly destroys the whole idea of the marriage contract right then and there.
Absolutely.
But okay, let's ask the key question. Why use this story? Such a personal, kind of messy drama to make a spiritual point. It feels memorable, but maybe a bit, exploitative.
That's a fair point, but I think the source uses it precisely because it's so unambiguous. There's no gray area.
Okay.
The second she got in that car, the commitment was visibly, irrevocably broken. The groom immediately declared the wedding over.
Right.
Finished.
Right.
So the reflection argues, look, marriage requires two people to be set apart exclusively for each other. Any sexual activity outside that bond is considered sinful within that framework.
And the spiritual parallel they're drawing is
that Christians are supposed to be, in the words of the source, completely dedicated to Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Utterly set apart for God.
So if that commitment isn't absolute, the moment they jump into that other car, metaphorically speaking, chasing worldly things or following some faction leader,
they're effectively voiding their spiritual contract. They're breaking faith.
Okay, I see the power of the analogy now. It's stark.
And crucially, the source stresses that this kind of unfaithfulness is never just a private issue. In the marriage story, it obviously hurts the spouse.
Right.
Spiritually, the source argues, it hurts God and it hurts the other believers, the whole fellowship, your Christian companions.
So you can't just have partial dedication. It weakens the whole group.
Exactly. The source is basically saying the weakness or the sin of one member inevitably compromises the integrity and the reputation of the entire body. You can't isolate it.
That sets an incredibly high bar. almost impossibly high for individual purity, perhaps.
This is a very high standard.
So if that's the individual expectation, how does the source talk about holding the whole community accountable? It seems to shift right from that dramatic story into some pretty challenging questions for the listener.
It does, and they're designed specifically to make you connect your own actions, your private life, to the health of the whole group. It's a 3-point self-inventory focused squarely on accountability.
Okay, what's the first question it throws at you?
First one is broad. In what ways has your church, or you could apply this to any community or organization you're in, departed from its core mission to chase worldly gain or status?
That forces you to do some organizational critique, to really look at whether the group's still on track with its original purpose.
Yeah, has mission drift set in?
Wow.
The second question gets very personal.
Okay.
It asks, what specific activities, habits, maybe even commitments in your life do you need to ditch, basically, to follow your true north more completely?
So not just thinking about it, but actual behavioral change.
Yeah.
What do you need to stop doing?
Precisely. It demands action, not just agreement.
And the third question connects back to that runaway bride story, doesn't it? It seems to hit that corporate accountability point hard.
It really does. The third question is, how can one person's sin possibly affect the entire church?
Right.
It forces you to confront the idea of corporate responsibility or even corporate sin. If the community is truly one body, then a single failure, even a hidden one, creates a weak spot, like a crack in a foundation.
Or like that broken spoke on a wheel analogy you mentioned.
Exactly. And if the outside world sees even one member failing to live up to the group's stated standards, the credibility of the whole organization takes a hit.
So this idea of purely isolated commitment, it's just an illusion according to this source.
Seems to be, yes.
Okay, so if you need this level of commitment and accountability, structure becomes really important.
Paramount.
And the reflection pivots there, right?
Yeah.
It starts talking about structured community life, mentioning the Sabbath specifically.
Yes, it brings up keeping the Sabbath holy. And it clarifies, whether you have a 2-day weekend or just Sunday, the purpose of setting aside that time is what matters.
And that purpose is?
It's explicitly for worship, for receiving truth, teaching, learning, and for active interaction and caring for each other. They use this term twanchi.
Twanchi. What does that mean more deeply?
It translates roughly to fellowship, but maybe a deeper sense of community connection and mutual care. This regular, dedicated time is meant to keep those internal bonds strong, to stop people drifting off.
Makes sense. Preventative maintenance for the community.
You could say that. And this structure needs leadership.
Right, the shepherd analogy comes in here.
It does. The source describes the pastor's role like a shepherd, leading the sheep, making sure they stay within the flock, the circle, as they put it. And critically, that the sheep recognize the shepherd's voice. It reinforces that idea of unified direction under trusted leadership.
So it's about hierarchy, but one built on mutual recognition and trust, aimed at keeping everyone aligned with the main goal.
Exactly. All designed to prevent that Corinthian-style confusion and those competing loyalties.
Okay, this is where the theory really, as they say, hits the ground. Because the source doesn't just leave it there. It gives a concrete, real-world example.
Yes, a specific blueprint, almost.
Let's talk about this Beipu church model.
Right, the Beipu Church. It's a fascinating case study in how you might actually implement this kind of high-commitment structure.
Where is it located? The source gives some context.
It's in eastern Taiwan, Hualien County, Xincheng Township. And the source makes a point of saying it's not some big city church, not a wealthy suburban congregation.
No, he describes it as small, rural, biased town church, actually.
Yeah, meaning sort of off the beaten path, maybe a bit remote.
And the people, mostly working class, laborers, folks with likely limited financial resources, maybe demanding jobs.
Right. And adding to that context, the pastor there has shown incredible long-term commitment himself, served there basically his entire career from graduation in '91 right up to near retirement.
Wow.
Calls it his most important church. That kind of stability from leadership is pretty rare.
Definitely provides a solid foundation. So despite these demographics, working class, limited resources, how is the church culture described?
It's described as functioning, quite intentionally, like a family, where things like education level or social status are deliberately ignored. What unites them, according to the source, is sincere faith.
In their core focus.
Reverence for God, embracing the great commandments. They see themselves not as a powerful institution, but as something small and focused. The source uses this lovely image. a bamboo light for God.
I like that. A small, maybe resilient, steady light.
Exactly. Humble but purposeful.
Now, for anyone listening who runs, say, a volunteer group or a community club or even thinks about team dynamics at work, the really crucial organizational piece here seems to be this sharp line they draw.
Yes, the distinction between a friend and family.
Explain that. What does that mean in practice at Beipu?
It's absolutely fundamental to their model. It represents the difference between just showing up, maybe passively participating, and actively taking ownership, stewardship.
So who are the friends?
Friends are welcome. Anyone can come, listen to sermons, attend meetings, observe. There's no pressure, no immediate commitment required. The church sees friends as people who might be seeking spiritual comfort or care or just exploring. It's a period of observation, basically.
So a safe space to check things out. But that openness has a limit if you want to belong more deeply.
Precisely. To become family, an actual member, that's where the rigor kicks in. That transition isn't automatic.
What does it require?
It requires, the source says, genuine identification and a sense of belonging. You have to really feel like you're part of it, and critically, you have to be willing to adopt the steward's role.
The steward's role, they use a specific term, guanjia.
Yes, guanjia, like a manager or caretaker in God's kingdom is the idea. It's about contributing, maintaining, building the organization.
Not just consuming the benefits.
Exactly. They are very explicit. If you're only there for comfort or care, you remain a friend, which is fine. But family means taking responsibility.
It's a very clear filter, isn't it? If you want ownership, if you want to be family, you have to pay the price of admission, so to speak.
That's a good way to put it.
So what is that price? What are the specific requirements to make that jump from friend to family at Beipu? The source lists 5, and they sound, well, demanding.
They are demanding. They really test your level of commitment first. A pious attitude and punctual attendance. Not just showing up, but being on time for all services and meetings.
Okay, time prioritization. What's second?
Second, establishing a personal spiritual discipline. Regular prayer, regular Bible reading, personal effort outside the group meeting.
Makes sense.
Third, accepting training, education, and practice. And this includes correction, what they specifically call chastening, using the terms a-din.
Wow, okay. So submitting to the group's process for growth and accountability, that's significant.
Very. It means you're willing to be guided and, if necessary, corrected by the community leadership and standards.
Okay, those first 3 are about time, personal discipline, and submission. What about the other 2? They seem even more challenging, maybe.
They are significant commitments. Fourth, strictly observing the true tithe. That means giving 1/10 of your income.
1/10. That's a huge financial commitment, especially, as we noted, for a congregation described as largely working class.
It's a major ask, no question. And fifth, becoming an evangelist in all forms of service, actively representing the church's mission and values to the outside world, not just passively belonging.
Okay, putting that all together. Punctuality, personal discipline, accepting correction, strict tithing, active evangelism.
Yes.
To an outsider, honestly, that 5-point list, it sounds less like joining a supportive fellowship and maybe more like signing up for a very demanding job.
It does have that feel, doesn't it?
So let's connect this back. Given the earlier critique about factionalism arising from misplaced loyalty, how does a source justify these incredibly rigid demands? Especially things like absolute punctuality and that heavy tithe on people with potentially limited time and money.
Well, that's precisely the tension the source seems to highlight, or at least implicitly justify through the model. These requirements, demanding as they are, function as an incredibly effective filter.
A filter for what?
For commitment. They ensure that only those who truly value belonging to this family, who truly buy into the mission, will actually stick around and meet the requirements.
So punctuality isn't just about being polite.
It's about demonstrating respect for everyone else's time, showing you prioritize the community gathering over your own schedule, conflicts, or convenience. It proves commitment.
And the tithe, especially from someone with less income.
That's an even clearer demonstration of where your deepest loyalty lies. It forces a choice. Prioritize the organization's mission and needs, or prioritize personal financial comfort. For someone with limited means, that choice is incredibly stark.
So the sacrifice itself proves the commitment.
That seems to be the logic. These demands ensure the family core is made up only of truly dedicated stewards. People less likely to drift off into factions because their commitment isn't casual or optional. It's been tested.
Okay, so the demanding rules aren't arbitrary power plays. They're seen as necessary organizational tools to prevent that Corinthian-style meltdown. They protect the core mission by ensuring member alignment.
Exactly, and that's the genius, perhaps, of how the source material flows. It goes from this high-level spiritual principle, avoid factions, be singularly dedicated, straight into these hyper-concrete boots-on-the-ground requirements at Beipu Church.
Sure.
It provides a real-time object lesson in defining the actual price of belonging. What does true commitment look like in practice?
And it gives you, the listener, a pretty clear framework for thinking about commitment in your own life, doesn't it? In any group you're part of. It forces you to ask, am I just a friend here seeking comfort or benefits? Or am I willing to make the investments, the sacrifices required for the family role, for true stewardship?
And it shows that commitment isn't just about belief, it's about what you're willing to do, what you're willing to sacrifice. The Beipu model, however tough it looks from the outside, its structure is designed, quite deliberately it seems, to align every member's behavior with that core mission, to keep their little bamboo light burning bright and focused.
Which brings us back to that final, powerful image the source leaves us with. That image of a working-class community, people with scarce resources, adhering to these incredibly demanding requirements: punctuality, tithing, training, service. So here's the thought to leave you with. What does that level of dedication, coming from people whose time and money are inherently limited, tell us about the perceived value of that commitment?
Yeah.
When the sacrifice is highest, perhaps the sense of belonging, the value derived from being family, must be incredibly profound, immeasurably deep even.